each song is different enough that although we can explain it one way, it's not really our song once people hear it. And so I like thinking that people connect with it in the way that they need to. And then in between, hopefully there's levity enough that it's not just soul-crushing every time we play a song. There's laughter in between songs. If you come and see us live, and then if not, then
we're just sad.
We're just sad. Just a lot of sad music.
Watch this interview, you'll see.
If we're growing old, let us be marrow carry underground, shade and sin you settle down. If we got a while.
My name is Andy Baxter, and I sing in the music band Penny and Sparrow.
My name is Kyle Yonke, and I also sing, but also play guitar in the music band Penny and Sparrow.
I know that music is subjective. I know that people who like certain things hate others, and that's not always a clear-cut deal. I know that we care about everything that we do. I know that every single lyric and note, production element was thought through, considered for a long time. There was no nervous creation. Like, all of it was based on joy, based on this is what the record I would want to listen to. This is the record we would want to hear.
No, the world is never right, and I came here for the fight. Measure out a life.
When we work together, for each song, process looks a lot like me coming to Andy with mainly just gibberish. I'll just play a progression and say total nonsense and hum a melody that I think is good until Andy puts words to it.
I think lyrically we try and say things that are difficult or not often thought through, and we try and say them in a way that's a word bank that we haven't heard used often. We're going to do a song called Each to Each, the roots of which were found in a T.S. Eliot poem, a love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and it was just one line that ripped me up, and I really dug it. It says, measured out your life in coffee spoons, and I thought about how life is taken in tiny pictures, like little bitty vignettes, like how you can't remember some really, really heavy things that happened to you in life, but you can remember what color blouse she was wearing, or what you had to drink that night. And so I want to talk about the bird's eye view and the nitty gritty of a romance after a long, long, long life.
Take our time.
We met right at the end of college. We both went to the University of Texas. Andy did not have a place to live. He was intermittently homeless.
True statement.
Picked him up off the street. So he moved into my room, and I was learning guitar at the time. And he is not very good at singing. And so we worked on his singing lessons. Mm-hmm. And I don't really remember why we started writing songs.
The musical attraction began with the physical attraction that I have for Kyle. He's a very good-looking gentleman. If one of us was going to be on the cover of Tiger Beat, it would not be me. I look like your uncle who knows the planet Hoth well and collects shit from it. And I do, and that's fine. But so I was like, damn, he's good-looking. I wonder if I could market that somehow in a grand scheme and maybe work in music. And he agreed. I duped him. We stole the name from our roommate at the time. Like Kyle said, I moved into his room, and it was me and Kyle and our buddy Jake. And Jake wrote a blog that had like screenplays on it, short stories, poems, stuff like that. And it was called Penny and Sparrow. And when it came time for us to actually play our first like legit gig, we needed a real name. Like we were going by like
Utah Jazz
sports teams. Like, hey, we are the Dallas Cowboys, because we thought that shit was funny. And so
it didn't go over that well though.
Yeah, we laughed.
Yeah.
Regardless, when we needed an actual name, we were like, we don't have one. Can we borrow your blog name? And he was like, sure. And then once we we killed it, and so we own it outright.
He was for a while.
Yeah, but the killing stopped all bitterness.
Yeah.
So he reluctantly, not even reluctantly, he was great about it. He's awesome, and so he let us have the name.
Yeah.
Okay, in short, I guess there's a feeling in the record that asks you, or anyone who like is going to give it an honest listen, to take every lover you've ever had in your life and put it in a vial and kind of study it and judge it by as an honest of a rubric as you can. And when you do that, it hopefully will give you a few answers to your life, like what type of love do I put myself in proximity to? What type of love do I deserve? Am I neck deep in an abusive, shitty relationship that I don't need to be in? What kind of love do I want? And so throughout the whole record, you're looking at like a slide of individual different snapshots of loves in your life, and hopefully at the end of it, you're a bit closer to getting the love that gives a damn about you and that you deserve. And so that's why we wrote it, is little bitty snapshots of that. Yeah.
Just a one lighthearted album.
Yeah. It's pretty surface level.
Yeah, just a bunch of bangers. Just EDM.
Well, I won't bear it down with such a hate. Well, at least not anymore. Put away that look I've gathered and thrown away. Every touch you took, and I won't be tasting you, 'cause I've been held too well since I left. Oh, I know I've been held too well.
We moved to Alabama originally just because we knew we were going to record there. We got a cool opportunity to work with a producer that was a hero of ours, and so we moved right down the street from him, consequently, which was a little bit creepy at the beginning. But
For him.
Yeah, for him. But he's kind enough to be our friend. And so upon doing so, we fell in love with the little city. It's in right next to Muscle Shoals. It's a place called Florence, Alabama. It's 2 hours from Nashville, 30 minutes from the Tennessee border. And I don't think we knew that we wanted to live in a tiny, tiny, tiny ass city until we lived in one and then fell in love with it.
I've gathered and thrown away every touch you took, and I won't be tasting you.
I mean, it was a golden opportunity. I mean, John Paul in particular would have been on a list of people 4 years ago that if you said, hey, if you could sing with anybody, I mean, Glenn Hansard, Sam Beam, John Paul, like those would have been the names on a very short list. And
unless he's watching this, and then
we hate
he's
his
a
ass.
lot farther down the list.
Such a
Just
jerk.
don't want his head to get too
Hate
big.
that dude.
Yeah.
But if he's not, then we really respect him, and we think he's great. And the coolest part about working with them, aside from the fact that they're creative geniuses and they work so hard. Like, yeah, the pace of life is slower in Florence, but that does not stop the hours getting clocked in. They spend so much time working, and they're so good at their jobs.
I think they taught us a lot about how to write songs. We're still new. Have been playing the guitar for like 5 years, and so this is all relatively new. And I think that John and Ben have shown us to focus on songs first, and then worry about the production afterwards. And then if you do that, it's funny how simplistic stuff may sound, but how little everything really needs.
But the best part, aside from all the creative stuff that both of them brought to the table, is that we get to call them friend. We know their families, they know our families, we enjoy them. If music got taken away forever, we would consider ourselves lucky just to know them as people. And so that's a really cool deal. It just doesn't hurt that they're great at music.
Plans to let myself get tossed away, but this must